Positive Anime Reviews is a review show that is designed for people who aren't very picky about their anime, like me. Most anime I watch ends up in my 5 out of 5 category. My reviews are for those people who are looking for a reason to watch anime rather than hate on it. I am willing to give any and all anime a chance before stating my opinion. Lastly, my reviews are all my opinion and might and or most likely won't match yours. If you don't agree, that's totally fine, just be respectful in the comment section, thank you. And as always, there is a spoiler section ahead, but don't worry, I'll warn you first. Hey guys, Darth Glork here, back with another positive anime review. Today we will be talking about the Ancient Magus Bride. So I'm actually not sure if it's Magus or Magus. I'm assuming it's Magus because like Magi, Magus, so magician, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna go with Ancient Magus Bride. So of course the Japanese name will be in the description, and it is probably the name in which you will find this anime in any site you are looking for it on. So I imagine that'll be the name that's most helpful, so that will be in the description. So, hello everybody. It feels like it's been eternity, and obviously in the last positive anime review, I did warn that it will probably be a while before my next one, because in the last one, after the last one, which was like Val Love or something, I totally forget, but I wanted to rewatch some of my favorites, but they were actually stuff that already had reviews on my channel, so but I wanted to watch them, so I took a little bit of a break and I watched them. So I watched them, it was great, but then after I was done with those, I was trying to decide what to get into next. And then as I was looking through my giant list of anime to watch, I saw this one. And now this one, when it did come out, I was pretty hyped for it because I think I saw a trailer, and the trailer looked so cool, and I was certainly intrigued. So so that was when I first saw it. First heard of it, but then at the time, of course, when it was airing, and then after it was done, and for some reason I just didn't get around to it, and I don't know, it just kind of fell by the wayside, even though I was really excited for it at the time. So then what it boiled down to is I saw the name come up once again, and I was like, you know what, that's it, let's just watch it. Like, don't read the synopsis, don't like look at it, don't spend too long thinking about it, just do it. So I did it. And I watched it, and it was awesome. So let's, of course, hop into this review. So it's been a long freaking time, so if I am rusty with how well this goes, and my reviews have never been that good, so, but, you know, even for me, if this doesn't go well, I apologize, but I am rusty at making videos, because unfortunately, it's been way too long, which, again, if I had any control over it, it wouldn't be like that, but here we are. Anyway, so, okay, I already did that, so I'm staring at my cheat sheet, in case you're wondering. So, when did this anime air? This is from the fall 2017 season, so obviously not too long ago. It is not that old, it's, I guess about 3 years old or so, but it did air from October 2017 to March 2018, so it stopped airing about 2 years ago or so. So it's not that old, and now again, I remember being pretty stinking excited, when it first kicked off, but I just never got around to it. So as far as is there a dub, I believe there is. So it is licensed by Funimation, and usually, and again, I don't know if this is true, but at least it feels like it to me, is anything that Funimation licenses tends to have a dub as well. So again, I don't know if that's true. Don't take that as fact. That's definitely my opinion. Now, as far as is the dub good, I don't know. As usual, I don't watch dub, I watch sub. There is a few dubs that I really do like, and there's a few that I'd say are really good, but most of the time I do not prefer them. If you do, I do not hate you, I still love you, and it's nothing personal, I just prefer sub. Anyway, so as far as is this an adaptation from a manga? Yes, it is. This is actually a manga that I definitely should add to my reading list, because, yeah, it is an adaptation from a manga. So if you've already read the manga, go watch the anime, and if you have not read it, then you'll be just like me. Anyway, so now we can go ahead and launch into the synopsis, which of course is the best way of summing up anything the anime is about, and it'll be much easier than listening to me ramble like an idiot. So here we go. Chise Hattori, I'm probably going to murder any name here, I'm very sorry. A 15-year-old Japanese girl was sold for £5 million at an auction to a tall, masked gentleman. Abandoned at a young age and ridiculed by her peers for her unconventional behavior, she was ready to give herself to any buyer if it meant having a place to go home to. In chains and on her way to an unknown fate, she hears whispers from robed men along her path, gossiping and complaining that such a buyer got his hands on a rare, and again, probably going to horribly mispronounce this, Slay Beggy, I think is how you pronounce it, because that's 100% how it's spelled. It's Slay Beggy. So again, if I'm crushing that, very sorry. Ignoring the murmurs, the mysterious man leads the girl to a study, where he reveals himself to be Elias Ainsworth, a magus. After a brief confrontation and a bit of teleportation magic, the two open their eyes to Elias's picturesque cottage in rural England. Greeted by fairies and surrounded by weird and wonderful beings upon her arrival, these events mark the beginning of Chise's story as the apprentice and supposed bride of the ancient magus. So there you go. Obviously, you know, I don't know about you, but that synopsis caught my eye immediately. But again, I think initially I saw a trailer is what back in, I guess, 2017. I saw a trailer, I think, and that's what made me want to see it. I believe that's how it happened. So anyway, but obviously super cool. At least I thought so. So moving on to rating, how clean or dirty is the anime? Pretty clean. I would give it a PG-13. That's what the site gives it, and I agree. The PG-13, because R is definitely too strong and PG is definitely too light. So PG-13. There is adult matter in this. There's not like nudity being thrown around or anything. It's nothing like that. It's just there is some blood and gore and some more mature, darker themes in it and stuff. And so I would definitely say PG-13 is a great score. And okay, genre. What genre is it? Slice of life, magic, fantasy, and it says shonen. I don't actually remember what shonen means, but I do know what slice of life, magic, and fantasy is. So it does say slice of life, but I don't want you to, because slice of life isn't everybody's cup of tea, which I don't blame you. Now, I am a very wide... I have very wide tastes, and so I watch pretty much any anime of almost any genre. But slice of life isn't for everyone, so I totally understand that. But even though this has a slice of life genre tag, don't let that fool you. It does not feel like slice of life, because a lot of the time, slice of life animes, it tends to, I don't want to say pointless, because that sounds bad, but it doesn't have a driving narrative. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a specific point, like we gotta defeat the bad guy, or we gotta save this person, or whatever. There's not like in most slice of life, it's just like you peeking in on the lives of a group of people or one person or whatever, and it tends to be just like very low key. Not a lot gets accomplished, and it tends to be usually pretty feel good, and that's just about it. But in this one, there is a bad guy, and there is a plot and a point and backstory and stuff. So it does have the tag, but it is more than just that. So I would encourage you to stick around. If that is a giant turnoff for you, then don't let it fool you. So, season length. How long is the season? Well, it is. This one is a hair longer. This one is a 24 episode, one season. 24 episodes, one season. The episode length is 24 minutes apiece, exactly what you would expect. I do believe that this is an anime where there is nothing after the credits. I think it might be just a preview. I know the final episode has one little thing after the credits, but that's pretty normal. Other than that, if memory serves, because obviously, keep in mind that when I watch this stuff, I don't marathon it, like, especially longer ones like this, like, so I watch it over several weeks. So because of that, because it takes so long, like, I don't remember every episode, so I kind of have to give you my basic gut feeling and see more or less what I remember. So, just to, kind of explain myself, but I do not believe there is anything afterwards, but as usual, I encourage you to double check me. So, moving on to our character section. So the characters in this one are pretty laid back. Nothing too crazy. Honestly, there is 2 characters that are listed as main characters, and I will talk about them heavily. But as far as other people, there'll be a few people that I maybe will give a little bit of a name drop, maybe. But all in all, there's only really 2 main characters. So. Moving on to our first main character is Chise Hattori. So I would label her as the, I don't know, quote unquote primary, like the alpha main character. I feel like it is mostly about her, and everything is from her perspective. Now, there is of course the other main character, Elias, but we'll get to him later. So Chise, she is the red-haired character she's the only redhead, so she should be pretty easy to spot. And of course, she'll be anywhere on any of the pictures I'm able to find. That's where you'll find her. So Chise, in personality, her life has been really hard. Her backstory is very, very brutal, and the more you learn about her, the more sorry you feel for her. I mean, I definitely felt that way, and I assume everyone else will too. And so the more you learn, the more tragic her backstory is. So because of that, it's warped her personality, as you might imagine, as you would assume. Her personality, she's very quiet. She's very, she's very quiet, but she's very, like, after she gets out of the, my life is in immediate danger mode, after she gets out of that, she's a very caring person. She, like, ignores herself to a fault. Now, she believes she's a selfish person, but she's not. All she does is care about is other people. Even when she is literally falling apart, all she cares about is other people. So she's a very sweet girl. She's very, very nice, very caring, very loving. And so it's rough and kind of balanced out by the fact that her life's been so brutal and so difficult. And so all in all, it was like, she was a character you really wanted to cheer on. You really wanted her to succeed because everything that she's been through, and then everything that happens in the anime, which again, I'm staying spoiler free, everybody, spoiler free. So after everything that happens, you were cheering her on. You want her to be happy. You want her to find her happily ever after. You know what I mean? And then especially as other different and more heavier plot points develop, things get more and more intense. But it's always just a good time. Like you're always enthralled. You're always interested. I know I was. The characters, they felt deep. They really did. They felt real. And that is definitely great voice acting and great character design. They felt real. They had real backstories, real emotions. There was depth to them. They weren't shallow. And I loved that. You know what I mean? And it was, obviously, those characters are the best characters. And Chise was awesome. And you were definitely cheering for her the entire time. And then especially as things develop and it's a good ride. She is a great person, and she's awesome. So there's not too much to say. Honestly, I've noticed that when an anime's bad, my reviews tend to be longer, and versus when it's good, they tend to be shorter. So I imagine, I don't really know why that is. My only guess is because if they're bad, I feel the need to explain why because it's more rare for me to have a bad opinion about any anime. So if anything's bad, I feel like I have the need to explain it, because my whole show title is Positive Anime Reviews, because 9 times out of 10, I have a positive thing to say about any anime I watch. So when I have something bad to say, I feel the need to explain it more deeply. But if it's good, then I say less in the effort to make you want to go watch it. Maybe that's my only guess as to why I do that. But regardless. Anyway, so moving on to our next main character, and really final main character, is Elias Ainsworth. So Elias he's definitely a head turner. No doubt you can see him. He has the skeleton head and like the horns and stuff, and he's very large. That's him. That's Elias. So he is an interesting character. Honestly, it was different. He was different than I expected. The farther it goes, the more you learn about him and his backstory and what he's like as a person and stuff. And it's interesting. It was cool to learn about him. He's pretty, in his own way, he really cares about Chise more than like anything else on Earth, especially after they really get to know each other. But it's interesting because he develops too. Now, there's backstory stuff that I'm not going to spoil that explains why he acts the way he does sometimes. But it only made it so things were more interesting. It only made it so that you wanted to know more about who he was and why he is the way he is, and and the relationship between him and Chise, which of course I ship to death because they're adorable together, in their own like super like the feels I can't take it kind of way. They're you shipped the snot out of them, and it was fantastic. So Elias is an interesting character. He does not act the way you would expect, and I think that was fun, especially after things got revealed. It didn't leave a bad taste in your mouth. After things got revealed, you were just on board, and that was awesome. I super enjoyed that, and I think you guys will as well if you choose to watch it. So that's pretty much Elias and Chise in a nutshell, more or less. And there is quite a few supporting characters, but there's only a few that really matter. The first one that briefly I'm going to touch on, his name is Ruth. I don't know if I can find pictures of any of these side characters that I'm going to briefly, barely touch on. But his name is Ruth. He is the goth-looking character. He has black hair. Has that "I will murder you" look in his eyes. That's Ruth. So he is kind of a big brother to Chise later on. Things develop, you'll see. But he was a cool character. I love how he supported Chise through thick and thin. I love that to death. There's lots of circumstances and plot that I'm not going to get into because I would encourage you to watch it. But he was a great character. There's another character. He's a blonde dude, really long hair. His name is I don't know if it's Lindell or Lindell, but it's Lindell basically. And again, not gonna get into him. He was a cool character, but you know, suffice it to say, there was lots of great supporting characters in this anime. I'm not gonna get into really any of them, but there were quite a few supporting characters, which really overall added to the atmosphere. It really made things fun. You know what I mean? That other than just Chise and Elias, a common theme between our main two characters is they both have emotional issues of different kinds. In some ways, they both have emotional issues that they're working through, that they're both, you know, like growing as people rapidly. And so through their interactions with all of these supporting characters and their supporting characters' specific circumstances and stories and things, lots of things develop, and it was super, super interesting. It was super interesting because things were just so... I don't know. It was interesting. You know, you could see the growth throughout the anime as they interact with all of these supporting characters, and you cared about the supporting characters as well. So of course that is fantastic and the mark of a great show. So that's pretty much it for the character section. Again, as usual, I don't really touch on the supporting characters too much. I like to just hit pretty deep-ish on the main characters and the supporting characters. If they're important, I touch on them. Most of the time I don't, though. So that is, par for the course at this point. So, moving on to our favorite / most hated characters. So, as far as favorites go, of course, this is so biased. I love Chise to death. Elias, I did like him. I wouldn't consider him a favorite character, but I love Chise. She was awesome. As far as most hated, like, there is the villain, but it seems stupid to say, I hate the villain, because he's not real. Even the villain wasn't like, you were like, oh, it's you. So, I hated the villain, but, of course, everybody hates the villain. Like, it's, most of the time, in most animes, the villain is painted as someone who's super unlikable. Now that keep in mind, I am a villain type of person. In games I play, anime I watch, I am often like, hey, villain, because I'm warped and broken that way. But it feels like a cheap answer to say I hated the villain. But I really did love Chise as a character. She's absolutely my favorite. And anytime she was on screen, I was glued. I mean, I was glued anyway because it was a great anime, but even more than that. So, moving on to animation and music. Now, this is a section that's actually super interesting in this anime. Because in this one, the animation and music was unlike any anime I've ever seen. In this anime, I would classify it as an experience. This is an anime that you experience. There's a lot of anime that you just watch and you're like, yep, that was good, or oh, that sucked, or whatever. But this is on a whole different tier than anything I've ever seen. I would definitely label it as an experience, and a large portion of that is because of the animation and music. The animation was jaw-dropping. There's lots of fantasy and lots of magic in this anime. Lots of fantastical magic and fairies and just all kinds of crazy things. And the animation was jaw-dropping, and it was so beautiful. There was so many moments that you're like, wow, this is so awesome. Like there was so many moments that was really, really cool. And the music was also on point. Now, often in anime, if the animation is really good, the music is that has a check mark on all of them, but this is one of them. The music in this one would hit during lots of these moments. The music was something you noticed. It was definitely something you noticed. And so as you're hearing the music hit of whatever it was, you're seeing the beautiful magic or dragons or whatever it is moments happening, and it's just you feel it in your soul, man. You feel it in your soul, and it was fantastic, and it was fantastic. So this is definitely to a whole different tier than anime that I've seen in a very long time, because it was something that I in my notes I have it labeled as this is something you experience. This is an experience, and I absolutely stick by that. That this was on a whole different tier of anime that I've ever seen, and I absolutely encourage you to go watch it. So, that being said, it's time to move on to final rating and recommendation. Now, I'm willing to bet that none of you at all will be surprised about what my score is going to be, but I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 5, one of my favorites. This anime is one of my favorites, and I love it. And that is the truth, man. Like I said, this is an experience. I absolutely encourage you to go watch it. If you love fantasy, fairies, adorable relationships, likable characters, like I could list anything, please go watch it. Do yourself a favor. Again, as with every anime I've ever watched, I would encourage you, do not read reviews. I mean, find someone you trust, watch them, watch the anime, and that's it. because there is lots of haters in the community, and especially that you read a review and everyone trash talks it because everyone turns into a keyboard warrior when they're writing their 19-page review online on some site that no one visits. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm tired of reviews that rip an anime to shreds and then I watch it and love it to death. And I'm like, are you serious? So, and this is no exception. There's all these people that are talking smack about this anime when it was amazing. And again, people are entitled to their own opinions, and I don't want to turn into another keyboard warrior because whatever. I'm using a mic and not a keyboard. I'm just saying that I try to be a positive person, especially in anime. Anime is one of the two places other than gaming where I go to be my happy place. And I don't know. I'm just this is where I go to be happy. And so because of that, that's one of the reasons I love making these videos. It's one of the reasons I love my channel, because it's my happy place. So that's pretty much it for this review. Once again, very sorry about the lack of uploads. As usual, I have no control over that. I am almost done with my class that I'm in, and then I take the GED test. Hopefully I pass it. Then hopefully I get into the apprenticeship program. Hopefully I get paid, and then hopefully I get my computer, and then my channel comes back. So like 25 stars have to align. Oh yeah, did I mention I'm moving, by the way? And so all the planets have to align to get this to work out. But I believe, darn it, positivity's gonna see me through, and I believe it's gonna work out. I can feel it in my soul. So lots going on IRL for me, but my channel is not dead. The mighty return will happen. Gaming content will resume. I have ideas of things I want to do for the channel once it's back to its full glory, and I am so excited because my quality is going to skyrocket, my channel art's going to change, my outro is going to be different, the whole nine. We're going all the way. I'm very excited for everything coming up, and very nervous, but very excited. And I hope to see all of you guys there. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the content today, and we will talk to you guys later.